Right. So speaking on selfishness and selflessness, now, wouldn't you agree that it's just almost normal to want to do things for yourself first? Like, how can I give what I do not even have?
Mhm.
Right. So I'm trying to, in being selfish, or would I call selfishness an act of me trying to, do certain things for myself, like to balance myself and better still, or at least people around me as well. Then I can now start thinking of, or I can now start seeing people around me to want to also show that act of love too. So I don't know, why should we call such act selfishness?
Okay, form another word that we should use so that we drop the harsh words. Selfishness is too harsh. We shouldn't call ourselves selfish. Please, look, give me yes, the tendency is for us to be naturally selfish. We all are. We all are. And that is why the tendency is natural poverty. Yeah, that's why all the things that we are trying to run away from are naturally there. So it now takes us effort, our own work towards salvation to move from that level to a higher level. So there is work to do. So once you're able to swim above that level and you come to the surface, then you'd have achieved. So the natural thing is to say, okay, you were born into selfishness, to self. I mean, everything around you, this is the normal thing. So why are you asking me to change it? That's the question. I mean, that's your question. It's normal. I should take care of myself. It should be about me. Why should it be anything else? Yeah, you are right. But it's just that the fruit that you would attract would also depict the decisions that you have made. And then after you have suffered and suffered and suffered and suffered at that level, and then your eye will begin to open, and then you see, come, why am I suffering? Can't I do something to move me out of this suffering to a new level? And that is when you now come to this realization. After all, look at this person. I want to be like this person. Because like I said, there are people scattered here and there. If we were to put this on the graph, like I said, you see some dots there, one dot there, one dot. And then once in a while, you see one far dot far away, so good. And then, I mean, this is not, if you had a spiritual eye to see this thing, that's what you would see. All right. Yeah, so selfishness is a normal thing. It's what we are born into. But we should come to a point. If we are born into that and we live like that and we die, we have not made any impact. We should come to a point where we reborn, we rebirth ourselves, we haven't been born into these circumstances and into this situation. We should, what's the word again? Reborn ourselves to our own new life, where we now begin to practice what will lead us out of that situation into the situation that we desire for ourselves. And that is what all of this is about. We are saying, if you are still there and you are enjoying what the universe is throwing at you, beautiful. This message is not for you. Awesome. But at some point, you will grow. Because the whole essence, the growth is you move from here to here. You cannot be, even if you last for 1,000 years, the way the universe grows us in such a way that you would wake up from that level one day, whether by yourself or by the universe taking away that which you are so comfortable with and say, I'm okay like this. It's going to be taken away someday.
Okay.
So at that point, you will now know that it's time to move on. Everything around you will point to it. Yeah, it will take it might take another 80 years of looking for who do me. Is this witch? Is that herbalist? Ultimately, you will wake up to the realization that this is actually me. If I can change me, then I can move me from here to here. And that is where all of these teachings become useful. So, yes, you are right. It is natural for us to be selfish, but we shouldn't stay at being selfish. I mean, even if we want to stay, at some point, we'll grow. You know, there's the teething period for a baby. There is the time when, after he has crawled and crawled and crawled and crawled, he'll begin to take the first step to attempt to walk. All of this they didn't fall from nowhere. They are things, they are the developmental stages in the spirit that we brought to the physical. That's where we learn everything from. And that's why we keep referring and giving examples by the things that you see, so that you can picture the things that you do not see. Because the seen came from the unseen. This is exactly how it worked there. So even as a baby, you do not know that you would walk someday. When the time is ripe, you take the first step. Second step, you take it to fall, you take it to, but from after a while, you begin to walk, and so on and so forth. So it is also that it is normal for us to be selfish, but at the appropriate time, we'll begin to learn these things, and then we'll begin to practice them, and then we'll become a neos, different from what we used to be. So this is, I mean, by your question, you have answered the question, why are people generally poor? Why are people generally, why is, I'm not sure what percentage now, but definitely over 80% of the world in that stage, and only about 20%, that's the 80-20 rule, at the level, at this level. Why? Why is the majority always here? Because the majority have accepted the situation they are born into. Only about 20% will feel, no, I'm going to reborn myself into the situation that I truly desire. And this is moving from selfishness towards love.